This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, for your half-assed entertainment news with no bullshit, with our hosts, Summer Helene and Bear Fiorda, only on Talk 4 Media.
G'day guys, welcome to Behind the Scenes. I'm your host, Summer Helene, and we are on with my co-host, Guinea Pig McGee.
I don't dislike that. There are definitely better names. I have been called Bare Bottoms before.
That was Master
Ken.
Yep.
And to the Dojo show on YouTube. Shout out to that guy.
I
Fantastic.
think he wanted to spank you.
I don't think that's what he wanted to do. But if you had said it at the time of recording, he would have done it.
So I have to give a shout out. I'm like having so much trouble with these ear things. I love my headphones he got me.
Yeah.
But I like my outfits. So I'm stuck with, I still want to wear my sparkly headbands and I want to, but my ears stick out. So it's this weird combination of headbands and kitty ears.
People know you have ears on the inside. You're fine.
I have Dumbo ears, always have. Speaking of guinea pigs, the little rodent that Ariana Grande is dating left his wife for her. What?
I just like what you called.
Well, that was my segue, but we got distracted.
He's dumb SpongeBob.
Oh no, he's gross SpongeBob.
He's gross SpongeBob.
Yeah,
All
this is the guy that couldn't get his end in, chased this girl down forever, begs this girl to get involved, finally gets
her, impregnates her, and then leaves her for the baby's born.
Yeah, because the first girl that paid him attention outside of his wife was the chick he was stuck with. And I cannot wait until he loses Ariana Grande to the next guy she cheats with, because that's how she goes from relationship to relationship. And if you are dumb enough to get into a relationship, wait, that would be good for you. Ariana Grande, I have someone for you. Take my boyfriend.
She won't take what's offered. She takes it because it's not on the table.
You can't have my boyfriend. That wouldn't be spectacular.
We're not married. You gotta marry me first.
Ugh, I don't want to marry you.
That's hurtful.
I will marry
but also
him
maybe she's protecting me from Ariana Grande.
What,
we don't know.
You don't want herpes? Come on, get it together. It's good for press.
Poor man.
He better take that
STD.
STD.
He really made a horrible decision in life.
I know. Well, you got to look at it like every bloke she's gotten with. I mean, her daddy issues have daddy issues, and I get it. My daddy issues have commitment issues.
But why does she chase men who are already committed?
Because her dad left her mom for another woman. And she's been chasing. Yeah, she's been the other woman since.
Yeah, well, I guess she saw how it works for some reason. Good day, Yana. Welcome to the show. That's our my manager in the comments there.
Yana is on. Now, tomorrow, I got to tell you guys, next week, I am going to start this show before we get into our taste test and all the weird stuff I'm going to do to Bear. I am going to start this with a warning. Next week, we will be at Dr. Shazia's office, and she will be live doing Botox and filler and all kinds of shit to my face. Yeah. So if you are squeamish with blood, next week's show is not for you. Bear's going to be leading it while I get my face injected with a bunch of crap. I'd like to remind everyone, every time we use bad language, we give money to the Boys and Girls Club of America, the Humane Society of America, and free MMA. We swear because we
You're
can.
not fucking free. Crap isn't a bad word.
Yes, it is. My grandma watches this show.
Yeah,
you would tell grandma that's not a bad word.
It's a bad word, ma'am. I got distracted. I was gonna say yes. So next week you're gonna be there. I'm still gonna be here in our space at the home. But I was gonna say, if you are squeamish around blood, but you want to try some,
I was actually gonna have you come with me.
What's that thing called, like adverse therapy, where they kind of put you
exposure
therapy? You guys can do that.
Don't do it. It's bloody. You'll see needles. Like, don't do it. It's needles going into the face.
Yeah, you could pretend like the needles are just getting pushed back into the syringe.
Look, if you like gross, tune in.
I'm sorry,
if you don't. But we are going to be on with Dr. Shazia. She's one of the stars of one of our up and coming shows. She is the beauty queen. You will get to know her. She essentially, if you're Fugmo, she can fix it.
Man.
And if you're not Fugmo, she can make sure nothing sags.
Hey, there's no better advertising than that. You ugly, I will fix you.
That's pretty much it. She can fix ugly. And that makes a difference.
But isn't look subjective? I mean, you might be ugly to somebody, right?
No, I'm freaking gorgeous. I was
saying that isn't true.
Not in a bad way. I was a Victoria's Secret model. I am objectively pretty.
Yes, I will agree with that.
I'm not sexy. I'm not stunning. I am objectively pretty. I have that kind of girl next door pretty.
Oh, and now I want to defend you against you. You are those things. Don't.
To you. That's what they mean by subjective. Right. There is objective and subjective.
Yeah.
To you, I am sexy. To him, he finds me sexually
appealing.
All right,
and that opinion is subjective.
But
okay.
Pretty fits in certain boxes.
Yes.
I am objectively pretty. I fit in the parameters of pretty. You are an objectively handsome man. People may not like the Roman noses or they may not like beards, but you are statistically and technically attractive.
Talking about attractive, I had a terrible conversation this morning with the UPS lady when I went to drop off some packages to return to Amazon. Did you get hit on
by the UPS lady?
No, very much. I don't mean to assume people's sexual orientation, but this lady is definitely not into men.
Usually you get along with lesbians.
No. No, she was very.
Usually you do.
Well, not what I'm saying. Fair enough. I'm just saying she started off super angry and aggressive over a package I had because it was still in the box. And that is not even the point that I'm trying to bring up. And I was going to say that typically when people are attractive, they get a little more leeway for the behavior. If this was an overly attractive person, I might have been a little bit more like cordial and try to work it out. And that's all subconscious.
No. You're talking
but because she was like mean,
you're talking about
she was
beauty bias.
Very unattractive. Yeah. I was immediately just like, all right, kind of fuck you. What are you doing? Why are you flexing your tits for?
I'm saying that's what you would have had to do. If you want her to get on with you, if she's into women, you had to walk in with some tatas. Do you have tatas?
Why would I care? I'm just trying to give her a package to return.
I'm just saying, if you want beauty bias to work on women that like women, you have to have boobs.
All right, fair enough. But
it's the same as gay guys. I do not get a pass with gay guys.
Yeah.
It's like the only clubs I have to buy drinks in my whole life have been gay clubs. I mean, women will buy them for me, but I mean, men won't.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just saying.
Beauty bias doesn't work that way.
We can segue now because I talked about ugly back into Ariana
Grande's new partner. Husband. See, that's how it's going. They're going to be living together. I want to get my face injected. We will take Bear's manager to get her face injected.
What did you call her thing? Her boyfriend?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you called him a commoner.
No.
Like your English is showing.
Sucks. He sucks as a human.
Yeah. No.
Her affair partner.
And in one of his most recent interviews, the affair partner, he said, I cannot wait to get divorced. He's like so excited to marry Ariana, which it baffles me because they're going to divorce in a couple of months anyway. I cannot
wait for her to leave him for the next guy. I just want him to feel the pain that he caused his ex. Yep. But this skis bag is going to go running back to the baby mama, trying to put it back together.
Yeah. The problem is
he's dirty. But the thing is, he's carrying some so objectively, Ariana Grande, you are welcome to sue me for this. Ariana Grande is known to have STDs. That is commonly known in Hollywood. And Chicky, if you want to sue me, you are welcome to, because then you've got to prove in court you don't. So we can do this. But she does. She has fun transmitted diseases. She is a carrier and she infects people. I'm being very clear.
No, it's not that. I don't care who's right or wrong in the situation. She's got so much money and lawyers that we're never going to win. I don't care. I don't want to be in debt for the next 67 years of my life.
Okay. I know
because you called Ariana a tramp.
I'm not calling her a tramp. I'm calling her a disease bag.
Okay, well, some people can be born with genetic diseases. How would you have accumulated the others?
She got it from a few different things.
Okay.
Okay, we're talking Derek Jeter level herpes tree.
Can we try my chips?
We will. Let me finish calling Ariana Grande a skank. I'm cool with that. I keep trying to get the Church of Scientology to sue us. I'm fine with Ariana Grande suing us. The reality is, if you hear me stop talking about Ariana Grande, it's because we're going to court. Right. The reality is she carries sexually transmitted diseases. Yeah. So if this guy goes back to his partner after that, my heart breaks for his partner. I hope she doesn't take him back, because when Ariana Grande leaves to infect the next man.
This was such a public, and I don't want to use the words horrific because I don't know how it was. It was probably horrific for her. So public and horrific event for her that I doubt she will take him back. Pride alone would probably stop him from taking him back. She didn't
want to date him in the first place. This little dweeb chased her down through drama school because she was the best chick he was ever going to get. And the minute he got a chance with Skank Pants McGee, that's what she did.
And this is
a little skeezy dude that played SpongeBob.
That's funny. They only did it together because they were on the set.
Yeah.
That's it. He was probably just the most famous person on set, or not even the most.
No, it's the one. So they spent time together, and he's funny, and it was during the pandemic. The reality is, I dated a lot of guys that I was on set with when I acted because that's who you're on set with. I didn't sleep with them. Ariana, it's possible not to. Just FYI, shout out to Ariana Grande. You don't have to fuck everybody. The point is, you can if you want, though. Shout out to Alexis, my co-host. When we talk about
CC from her fucking lawyer today.
Fine. I'm just giving a shout out to what is it, King for Dummies, and you can fuck everyone, or you can fuck nobody. I don't care.
Yeah.
But once you start touching other girls' stuff, you suck as a human. Like, I'm sorry, especially in
I don't
Hollywood.
think it's sorry. I find that's fairly
We
accurate.
have it, so it's just nah. And then you infected it. So she can't even take it back.
She should.
You made it gross.
It
is like she chewed up the meat and spat it back on the plate. Nobody wants it.
Or like when she licked the glass.
No, that was gross. She licked the donut. The girl's always been trash. Okay, speaking of trash. So what he said, speaking of gross trash to put in your mouth.
Can I start with the bad one?
We're going to start with a few different ones. So the gross trash to put in your mouth. We have seaweed chips. We have chili chips. We have squid chips, and we have chicken chips. I love chicken chips. FYI, those are mine.
So I don't know if you guys ever knew this, but Lay's also, I didn't know this. I didn't know Lay's was an international company. Lay's. I call them Lay's.
Lace is the white thing that I wear that's see-through.
Yeah, but this is Lays, not Layz.
Yes, Lay's.
I'm going to call them Lay's.
Try a seaweed chip. Tell me how they taste.
Down the hatch.
So anyway, as we talk about what a slut Ariana Grande is, we will try chips. Now, I'm all for, by the way, slut shaming. And the only reason I am for it is I think humanity has lost its shame. And hear me out on this. How's the chip?
Yeah. This is a solid 4 out of 10. I think if you like seaweed, it's for you. If you don't like seaweed, it's a waste of your money.
Okay, so 4 out of 10, world market, Lay's chips, not sponsored.
You don't want to throw it up. It's just unpleasant.
Okay, next we are going to try squid.
I really want to break it in half. It's so damn
put it
big.
in your mouth. Anyway, the point is, when you
yeah,
finish your chip.
This is disgusting.
What does it taste like?
I've had calamari.
Mm-hmm. Does it taste like calamari?
No. No. It tastes like a bastardized version of what squid might be.
So this was made by somebody who doesn't know what squid tastes like.
I feel like a lot of them are made by people who don't know what the item tastes like. They just have a synthetic formula for it. They did not kill a squid.
It's like the Cavendish banana.
They did not sprinkle squid juice on these chips. You understand what I'm saying?
You want juice on the chips?
No, I don't want fucking juice on the chips. You're not listening.
I can go in the freezer and I can get thaw the squid and I can put squid juice on your chips.
Why do we have squid in the freezer?
My mom left squid in the freezer. Remember, she left the giant.
I thought you cooked that.
No.
So we just have frozen whole squid in the freezer.
I can make it tonight.
No.
Do you don't want calamari?
No, I don't want anything to do with squid after those chips. I'm sound like I'm bitching. It's because I am. I'm done.
Anyway, speaking of gross things you can find that are fishy, Ariana Grande.
This whole stream is just hating on this chick. I'm not opposed, but I don't want to pay $3.7 million because we called her fishy.
Okay, you know what? We've only gotten sued a few times. We're fine. The reality is, eat the chip. The reality is, he is the major problem. Girls like her, I have a problem with. Like, if my friend slept with my guy, I would have a serious problem with my friend. It's not the guy. Are you okay? Do you want some water?
That's not even hot. That's disgusting. What is that called?
That's chili.
Chili what?
Chili plate. I don't know. I don't read.
Just chili?
Oh, it's Japanese. Sweet spicy.
If you guys like chips or if you like chilies, don't buy this.
Not ringing endorsement, darling.
Ringing endorsement, my ass. I'll
tell you what.
I am actively saying, do not get it. That is trash.
I'm not going to make him eat the chicken ones.
That's the one I was hoping.
No, it's fine, babe. I'm not going to make him eat those ones.
I don't know what that sound was. Just give me a damn chip.
But the reality is,
I'm going to just slip my hand
these are good.
Yeah. Do that.
Oh, you got a little one.
These are the same size as the other ones. So
wait, I'm not taking it. I just want to show them. I wanted the size of the one he got when he ate the prawn versus the half or third of a chip.
It is what it is. We're only trying them out. It's not like it's a huge impact. I'm just saying.
I like chicken chips. The reality is, though, when you do things like that to people in media, it comes back to you.
Okay. That's the best, but still not great.
Really? You didn't like the chicken chips?
No. I've had your Australian chicken chips.
I thought that's what I thought it would be.
They are so much better than this. It's also a little bit spicy, ironically. But this isn't Australian. This is
Japanese.
This is all Japanese, actually.
Yeah, they are. We got all Japanese.
And that's really cool, but I guess it's just not flavors they're accustomed to. I don't know what you would call that.
No, that's a good chicken chip. I think you've just had too many flavors in your mouth. We should have spaced it out.
Well,
try this again.
We're testing the viral chips.
I know. So test this again in 5 minutes, and I think it'll taste more like the chip you're used to.
It won't be tested in 5 minutes. I'll just be consuming chips at that point in 5 minutes.
You have a fight.
You're having me eat chips.
Fighting. So Bear is going to be fighting Christopher London.
I'm taking the onus off
from MILF Manor, and we are going to invite out Cooper, by the way, from YouTube. So he's got him in September, and then of course the gent we have on today, Ike, we are setting up at that fight as well.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about that. I heard.
But he's not fighting you. He'll sit on you.
I wouldn't win. There's not a chance.
Oh, no. Jared Vendera turned around. He's like, I'll do it. I'm like, no. He's an amateur and we want him alive.
Are you kidding?
We are not putting Jared Vendera with Ike.
But he's also sick. Like, I think
eventually
we'll put very distinct advantages.
Eventually, I would have Ike fight Jared Vendera, but not now.
Well,
I'd like to point out, we've got Ike on. Jared Vendera just left the UFC. I'm not putting him with Ike for his second amateur bout. Like,
no, we'll give him a couple.
Yeah, we'll give him a few.
Third fight.
Then third fight. I'm sending him to New York for a big fight at the end of the year. Get it together. Don't kill my fighters.
I'm sorry.
You just want to be the only fighter. I'd like to welcome to the show. Ike, come on.
Here we go. Hello.
Good. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Very good.
He's gorgeous. He's going to get way better ratings than you.
Just right out the gate. That's what we're hitting it with. But I'm not going to argue with that fact, man. You look insanely yoked. You know what? I'm actually curious. This is not going to be your first fight, right? This is your second one?
The second one, yeah.
How did you feel in your first cage fight?
Well, it was very, very interesting. I mean, I'm a showman, so I'm always used to the crowd and the attention. But of course, fighting is a different story. I felt very alive, like it's something about it when you're fighting for your life and you're fighting for your survival that you get a little bit more. You feel more of the moment, So I enjoyed it, of course. A little bit nervous leading up to the fight, but after it was done, I was very happy I did it. I got that experience, and I'm excited to get back in there. Get back in the ring.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, we spoke
mentality you walked into in the first place.
We spoke over at Spa and because he's so tall and so big, we have every matchmaker in California and Camo looking for a fight for you. And his mate, Jared Vendera, jumps in. He's like, he's a heavyweight. I'll do it. I'm like, absolutely fucking not.
That we're just getting started. Chill the fuck out.
Chill. Later. So everyone thinks is going to be a star. I know we are putting you in a television show upcoming that's following up and coming fighters. I know Bear's manager's trying to take you. See, you're not cool. You're not the favorite anymore.
Listen, I don't need to.
Yana wants him.
Good. Help young fighters progress. That's what I'm concerned with.
Well, it's a good manager. It's your manager.
Yeah.
So for you, stepping into fighting, is it different than doing bodybuilding, that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's much different. See, I don't know if you can see it from here. Like, I'm literally right at Muscle Beach in Venice.
Nice.
See all the bodybuilders outside.
On Muscle Beach.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm right here, literally at Muscle Beach.
I want to go to his house. Like, that's fantastic. He's the best view in town.
Right. So
he's looking at Muscle Beach. You're sitting on air eating chips. This is why he looks like that.
It was very different. Well, fighting is a more, I would say, a little bit more multi-dimensional than bodybuilding. So bodybuilding is more about like mastering these movements that are isolating the muscles. But when you're fighting, you kind of trying to like be very functional and have everything work together. Also, fighting strength is not everything. Like it's a combination of different things. You got to be flexible. You got to be smart. You gotta have strategy. You got to be fast, and you got to be strong. So it's all about how you play your cards. So also fighting, you need a partner. So it's kind of like dancing, right? Bodybuilding you can do on your own. So I would say one of them is conditioning. Bodybuilding is pretty much conditioning, strength and conditioning,
Right.
and it's you yourself got to tailor your workouts towards whatever fighting style you have or how you want to fight. So it's different that like bodybuilding is very flexed up, like you're like right.
I'm just compared it to dancing. I'm like, if I'm dancing and I'm bleeding, something has gone terribly wrong.
Well, I mean, it's what it is. You kind of like go back and forth. You boom, boom. It's not a romantic dance, but it's still somewhat of a dance,
Well, it's pure business.
It sounds awful, but you made what sounds like my nightmare, and so many people's nightmare would be getting in that cage. You made it sound wonderful. Do you know how much money I spent? No.
I love what you were talking about, kind of curtailing that training, that what you're doing leading up to your fight and for your for competitions. What did you have a specific thing that you kind of cater to when you were getting ready for your fight?
We want to do that, but also while you have him on, you have to put on 50 pounds for the fight with him. I know. Ask him. He could help you. You were saying, sir.
Well, what I noticed is like. I'm a bodybuilder, so I'm kind of like the galleon figure for Muscle Beach. So I have to keep bodybuilding to keep my body in shape. Otherwise, I lose my physique, But leading up to a fight, I will definitely just like cut down on the iron. I will still do calisthenics, but I almost will pump no iron because what happens with the iron is it kind of makes you a little bit stiff, So when you when you want to swing and punches, you want to move. You don't want to have that pump, For example, the chest pump, right? Your chest is right now. My chest is not really pumped, so if I block, I can like protect myself well, right? But if I'm all pumped up, I have a hard time getting my hands together and kind of like being fluid in those situations. So I'm not saying not to for a fighter that they can pump no iron, but I'm saying not to do it to the point where you all stiff and pumped, which we do sometimes in bodybuilding, you know what I mean? Which is part of it. So leading up to the fight was interesting for me to learn too, because it was my first fight. I still pumped a little bit of iron, like probably like a day or so before the fight, and I felt I shouldn't have did that. I felt like in the fight it made me a little bit stiff. So like definitely a week or two leading up to the fight, I would not pump no iron. I would still do push-ups, calisthenics, pull-ups, muscle-ups, dips, bodyweight exercises, but not no heavy weight,
Yeah.
He works out way more than you do.
So much more. It's very physically speaking, like lifting and whatnot.
Because he works out, he does about 8 hours a day of fighting, but he does none of the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's interesting to see the different approaches.
Well, it's very interesting too with the fighting style because it helps you a lot in the wrestling, It's not necessarily the best, like for your punching speed, but first of all, you're gonna have punching power, even though your speed is not just strong. Like if you train to bench press, you're gonna have punching power, and in the wrestling, you're gonna have very big advantages. My style in fighting is wrestling and stand-up striking. Like I have a background in Taekwondo, so I got pretty good kicks and little bit of boxing. So, but when I get into the wrestling, is really when I'm like, most people I can out wrestle them, even if I'm technically not that advanced, because I'm very strong.
You're
I'll give you that one for sure.
6'9".
Yes, 6'9".
Of course, you can out wrestle everyone. You're a tree.
Yeah, but for the wrestling, that's not necessarily the best because people get below you, they get to go for your leg. And like even though I'm 6'9", you gotta know how to like use 6'9". Like fighting, height is good, but it's not necessarily the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
No,
I would say in boxing for sure, because you got all your reach.
Yeah.
But in the cage, not necessarily, because I have to, for example, be low. Like I can't be high up here when I'm fighting, otherwise I'm gonna get taken down. So I have to be like in the middle. I gotta be low. So even though I'm 6'9", I can't really like use all my height. You know what I mean?
You know, so we're looking for an opponent for you right now. We're trying to make sure we don't want someone with too much experience. Shout out again to Jared Vendera. We'll talk to you later. But because you don't have that, and so we're going through. Do you know how hard it is? And I'm sure you do, to find someone that wants to fight a 6'9" bodybuilder.
Well, that is the interesting part, because the first fight that I had, like about a month ago, like we were looking for somebody for about, I think, a year, and the guy I was fighting, he had the same problem, because he was an amateur, but he's a really big guy too. He was 6'7", huge guy from France, Senegal, and nobody wanted to fight him. And I was like, "You ain't got nowhere to fight. I got nowhere to fight. Let's just do it." You know? Yeah, and it was good. I like one thing about it. I wish I had a little bit more time to prepare, because I had like a 2-week notice. At the same time, I was booked for a movie that, curiously, like, you know, I'm an actor too. I was booked for a movie that was an MMA movie, Throwing Hands. So in my preparation, I was still on set, working 5 a.m. I was sparring 7 a.m. in the morning. So on my next fight, like I definitely would like take more time to prepare. You know what I mean, and get in there a little bit more ready. But I did what I could with I had. Almost knocked the guy out. He won with one points because he kept attacking my leg.
He played points. So if you watch the fight, the guy did. I've seen Bear lose the same way, actually, especially when he first started. He's trying to knock the guy out, and the other guy is just making sure he doesn't get knocked out and doing the takedowns, counting points.
Yeah,
you lost.
I'm not gonna lie,
you
man.
did. You put on a good show. You really did, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
The big thing was, though, it was the takedowns. Takedowns are worth so much more than a hit. When I watched the thing, that's all I saw.
If I had to fight you, I'd only be taken down.
I
wouldn't stand up for 3 fucking seconds, dude. You would never see my eyeballs.
The bear's on his leg and won't let go.
Just hanging on.
So in your case, I do have to say, Yana's actually on here. She's like, we can find someone internationally. You know that you are intimidating when we're making calls and I'm like, hey, you know, this is an internationally televised fight. It's an AMI fight. You want to come, you know, fight this guy? Everyone I'm talking to, they're like, yeah. I'm like, he's a 6'9" bodybuilder. Fuck off.
That turnaround's real fast.
Yeah, it's just immediate. I was like, oh. Okay. So we finally called it.
That's usually the problem, especially once they see the stuff that I do on the bars, because I'm like, more than a bodybuilder, I'm like the heaviest heavyweight, doing muscle ups, handstands, and like crazy stuff nobody can do. You know?
Here's the question. So he has a fight with Sensei Seth at the end of the year. We will be putting you on that fight card. That's going to be in New York or Vegas, but I think they're moving it to New York through Access. He needs to put on like 50 pounds and not be jiggly, because when he did last time put on weight and started putting on weight for Worlds, he got jiggly.
Right.
Not good for the other stuff we're doing.
I don't have a ton of.
I keep telling you, eating KFC is not how you put
muscle.
That is not. He eats KFC to put on weight.
Right. Well,
I don't know where you get that information from.
There's the theory of clean bulking and dirty bulking, right? I don't believe in clean bulking. Like, I think you should just probably get a little bit more of a weight regimen, and then just eat clean protein, and just try to really get your weight up. You know what I mean? Like you said, you don't do no pumping iron at all, so you can easily 50 pounds is a lot, but you can probably definitely put on 20 pounds with no problem. You just start pumping that iron.
He can put on 20 pounds with KFC. We've done that.
I've
seen it.
Yeah, I don't think you've seen it for a fight, but you have seen me eat.
Yeah, it's KFC. In between fights that you do it. At fights, it's clean. So because you're doing bodybuilding, you're not like the other fighters. You're not like Bear. You're not like Patty. You're not blowing up between fights. And I'm teasing him, but a lot of these guys, they really normally between fights, and then they kind of shrink down. They're still working out, but they aren't working out the same way you are. So you find being so much more physically fit than these guys let you outlast them, even in training.
Yeah, I mean, fitness is very how can I put it? It ranges in different ways, like you can be very strong like as a bodybuilder, but as a fighter you do need a lot of cardio, so um like if you just work on your strength and you don't have the endurance to go the whole way, that's it's a deficit, very like it's a deficit, because like somebody can just play the strategy, I'm gonna run from this guy for 2 rounds. By the third round he's gonna be gassed, and once you're gassed, your strength, you can't access it no more, so like that's very important that you don't just focus on the basic static lifting, but incorporate a lot of running and like like movements that also get you fluid and functional. So like I like to compare it to like a ritual. You gotta have the right ritual to be ready for the ring. If you don't train the right way, you're just not gonna be ready for that fight. So bodybuilding fitness as itself, it's like a toolbox. And then you gotta pull the tools, pick the tools that you want, that you like. And everybody's different. Everybody has a different, physique and fighting style. Like I said, I like to wrestle, I like to punch, I like to kick. And I still gotta, like work on learn a lot of jiu-jitsu. I know about it, but I'm not, like I wouldn't really want to go to the ground with a jiu-jitsu guy. But I'm saying, like
he's excellent at jiu-jitsu. We're on his side. He's excellent at it.
yeah.
We'll keep that out.
So if you could fight anyone in the UFC, let's say you go to the UFC, you get any fight you want. Who do you want to fight? And you can't say Conor because you'd sit on him. I mean, I know it's my favorite fighter.
God, we want to fight. Oh,
yeah, you gotta.
I don't know. Like I thought Francis Ngannou would have been interesting to fight. Like I sparred with him. Like I went in there, helped him prepare for who was it? Ghanaian was fighting Ghanaian.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, he would be interesting to fight. And the giant Renan, who of course.
Yeah.
And who else?
Yeah.
There?
You helped Ngannou train for his fight. What the hell was that?
Alive.
What was that like?
Oh, it was crazy. Like
there is no other response that would have worked there.
I'm located in LA, but my coach knows his coach, so I drove down to Las Vegas and I went into his gym. It was like Extreme Couture MMA or something. And it was literally the craziest MMA gym I walked into. Like a bunch of Spartans just training hard as fuck. And Francis was already training in there. I got to meet him. I stepped in there. That was actually I had like a lot of less experience than I have now, because by now I sparred with Volkov. Alexander Volkov was his training partner.
Oh, nice.
And I just went in there like with the courage, because as a warrior you got to face the challenge, right? And it was good,
No, that's not a challenge. It's a machine.
I know, but you gotta understand, I'm 6'9" and very strong too. So
yeah,
it's balancing itself out, like.
I don't know. I just poke him in the eye and run. Like that's.
Jesus Christ.
So how was that fighting with someone? Ngannou, especially for his size, is incredibly fast for somebody that big. I mean, shockingly.
Right. Well, it was like a learning experience the most, Like I was able to hang with him. I was in there, like going the full round with him, and just it put everything in perspective, Like it gave me the perspective what the strongest in the world is like, and that I actually have a chance in the game because I'm in there with a lot less experience to the guy, but I'm hanging with him, and that's kind of what it did for me. Where I was like, wow, what a privilege, first of all, that I got to spar with the guy, and second of all, that I would have what it takes to be a fighter, which is like, because as a bodybuilder, I'm very functional, because I was raised as a martial artist first, so most bodybuilders don't train as functional as I do, But I believe that, like, I'm also natural. Like most people like to pump themselves full of drugs, but I believe the nicest physique you get is through really functional training, you know, like a
Okay.
small waist, like a good like definition, like you know, like you gotta have a good ratio between your weight and what your weight can do. You know, that's why you don't want to have barely no fat because every gram on you gotta be like helping you move. You know, so yeah.
What do you think of those guys that do the injections that make the muscle? What's that stuff?
Oh,
Synthol?
Yeah, that are
oh
doing that
God,
now.
they're complete clowns. Like you know,
They're
it's
actually
like
suing to be able to compete in bodybuilding. They are already competing in that altered thing that they're doing now, where people can they're doing the steroid game.
You're
things.
not talking about Synthol. You're
No,
talking about
I'm talking about Synthol. The guys with Synthol are now suing to be able to compete in Mr. Universe. They're saying they shouldn't be because they've done that. Yep, it's in court right now.
that's ridiculous, man.
That's what I said.
It's not. It's no muscles, man.
it's all liquid. They can compete. They'll just lose immediately. I don't know why they have to fight to get involved.
They're not allowed to compete right now, and they're asking.
No, but let me tell you, like I think some of the pro bodybuilders, some of them too, they do use a little bit of Synthol where you can't tell, you know. But they're not going in there like those crazy guys who are just like, you know, like just Synthol out, like just like full of oil and shit. It's like, no,
it's
not like
weird looking when
like
they do that. Anymore. It looks like, you ever seen those really fat old ladies that lose a bunch of weight where it jiggles and then hangs down?
Yeah.
But they do that, but like the fluffy version. It's
weird.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. We touched on it for a minute, but I want to go back to it. You said you were also an actor and you were preparing for a movie at the time. What got you into the entertainment world, like all together?
Seriously, that's
well, man, I have a very epic story. So usually I am from Austria. I'm Austrian.
Okay.
Like Arnold, and I came in Austria. I was a model, so I was doing modeling. I was Mr. Vienna. So 2014, like I came with the ambition to be a Hollywood star in California, like in California, LA. So I came to LA, and make my first steps in Venice. I stepped on a stage right here in Muscle Beach. I became Mr. Muscle Beach. Then I kind of like fell into the fitness industry, which at that point was booming. 2014, 15, there was a lot of like different brands, and like I was like a promotional fitness model. And slowly I started to pursue the acting. So I went to the acting school, and just kind of trying to live that dream of being a movie star. And like little did I know, like it's a very big dream. It's a little bit harder than what I thought it was, because it's like Hollywood is very competitive. Acting is very competitive. So like people trying to keep you out the game. And it's like it's also an art. You got to know how to do it, like just like fighting is an art. Like acting is literally, you have to just learn it. Like, you can't just read, give somebody who's never acted the line and tell them how to act it. It's like, it's not going to like be the same delivery, So yeah, I came with that dream, and I didn't give up on living that dream, and I kind of sort of helped my fitness and Muscle Beach and this whole lifestyle that we got over here in California helped me to make it out here for 10 years, and then literally after 10 years I had my big break, because it's a big movie that was like, I think for BET, Throwing Hands. Is an MMA movie, and ironically, like as I'm filming an MMA movie, in the movie I'm like the owner of the league, sort of like the Dana White.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah,
right. So I'm filming the movie, and I'm watching the fight scenes. We had Rampage Jackson in there too.
Rampage, yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, and I'm watching the fights, like, and then literally a week later I'm fighting in there, and it's just like, wow, like, everything came full circle. And yeah, so
I think it's interesting that you wanted to be an actor, went to MMA, and even like I'm offering you a place in a reality show, and I'm off, it's kind of MMA seems to be what's pushing you in the acting world. It's an odd segue. Like you're chasing acting, and then you start doing it MMA, and everyone's like, "I'll take you."
Yes, 100%. It was very unexpected, but it's very true what you just said. And I think it's because both of it is entertainment, Like as a fighter, you got to put on a show in there. You can't make that shit boring. Got to be like, you know what I mean? Like for the people to have something to see. So it's both in the same vein, And also, like, I think, we're in the future and like you gotta just use the tools that we have to evolve as a person, like nowadays is everything is hyper speed and you got to be a little bit better every day, and that's why I love the fighting, because you got to step up to the challenge, like that's the one thing that was amazing when I had my fight. It's like I really trained hard. I went into the like real fight preparation that I had, and I used it to push myself to the next level. And then finally you go in there, you step up to the challenge. It's no other way to grow as a man. You got to face that. And it's like, it's a very tough path to tread on, but it's also very rewarding because you just get better, you evolve more. And I feel like naturally, because like the bodybuilding I've mastered, I've been bodybuilding for 17 years and I know how to build a body.
I'd say for sure.
And I can tell anybody how to do it, and through the bodybuilding, what it really teaches you is the anatomy, like what does what muscle do? Like if I want to train the chest, I got to push. If I want to train the triceps, I got to do this. Then, you figure out the different anatomy, like of how the body is built. And that understanding is going to help you in the fighting too, So, I feel like, because I'm new to the fight game, like even though I grew up doing martial arts, like I got back into the martial art training about like 2 or 3 years ago. I feel like in the next 1 or 2 years, like I'm gonna really like start like blossoming in that as well. And that's just the natural. Yeah.
There aren't a lot of guys your size in the sport. There really aren't.
No,
so
not at
if
all,
you're going to go into martial arts and if you're going to go into MMA, I think you made a really smart choice. Just from a marketing perspective, that's my specialty. You've chosen the smallest pool and in this sport, but the heavyweights in MMA aren't like they were in boxing. And I think you have the star power to make them that. It's the middleweights, it's the smaller guys that were doing this in MMA. And everyone wants to see the heavyweights. You want to see those big fights. It's the same reason people like amateurs. They learn to fight before they can block. So the fight's always bloodier with amateurs. With the big guys, they like it because of the power. And so if we get a couple of stars like you, like Nagano, I think that will take MMA heavyweights to that next level, which they haven't been.
I agree.
No, I agree completely. It's funny because I think no matter how good your skill level right now is, whatever it is, but you have a much higher chance of getting into a high promotion league like UFC, PFL, wherever, than someone else who may be better than you but at a lower weight. Because just physically speaking, you are so much easier to market and sell to people.
He's also hot and got a following. And
well, now we add those other things to it, right?
Like you are a promoter's dream.
But you're literally just like another one of the Francis Ngannou, Cyril Gans. You're one of those very unique guys that we don't see a lot of, period. And so it makes it so easier for the company to want to put you in and work with you. So I think you're saying a year, 2 years. I think you'll
blow up within 6 months.
If
you hit the right promotion,
keep fighting the way you are, after only a month or 2 months in between, 100%, you're going to catch on really fast.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. You will really blow up. And I'm not an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
So this is coming straight from marketing, but I would take my time going pro, because the longer you take and the more they want you, the more you can sign that contract for when you flip.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I would drag that out a little bit, do the TV shows, do like a few different things that way. Because the biggest signing bonus the UFC ever gave was $60,000 for the first fight for Conor McGregor.
Right.
He wants to beat it. You should try to just beat that first fight signing bonus, because it makes you remember. Go for the 100, and if you've already got that following those numbers, they'll do it.
Well,
and you've got, like I said, you've got the right look. You're charming as hell. Like we had backup stuff in case you were boring to interview, and we haven't touched any of it. Like we've got little things to fiddle with on air. It's good.
We've had one too many stick in the muds.
Oh my God. Don't insult our guests. Some of them have been terrible. But you're charming, you're attractive, you can fight, which is very important in fighting.
Right.
I do. I think you have the star quality that a lot of people lack.
Right.
And you've got the Arnold parallel, which is a great way to blow up, especially locally in Muscle Beach in that area, and to push LA. I love that. We have to do a photo op with you and Arnold.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I like him. He's a nice dude. I know people have problems with him. I love him. Nice dude.
Right. I worked with him before too.
Yeah.
Oh,
then you know, he's a really good dude. Like,
yeah, it's funny as you bring him up a couple times now. Was he ever like maybe an inspiration or something that stuck out to you when you were growing up in this industry?
Oh man, like quite frankly, like of course, like I was in Austria. You watch Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. I was a little boy watching whatever Terminator, Last Action Hero, and the Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? But even though he inspired me, like my greatest inspiration was Jackie Chan, because I'm a
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like he was my, like, if there would be any person for me, well, like I would love to meet them the most, it would be Jackie Chan, because I religiously watched this movie because I just thought it's so crazy that guy was doing all the stunts himself, which adds a different layer to like the movie, right? Where you're like, damn, this guy's actually doing this shit. He's not just letting a stuntman doing this shit. He's doing it himself, right? So Jackie Chan was the man for me, but Arnold definitely was like huge subconscious inspiration. And then finally, when I came to Muscle Beach, like now I talk more like the people here, but at first I had a very thick Austrian accent. It was looking just like Arnold, and it was out there at Muscle Beach, So yeah, no, definitely, and it was a big moment too. And I think I had a photo shoot with him for GQ Germany. Like when was that? Like 2018, 2019. So yeah, that just when it went full circle, and now I'm like literally like the new like guy to go to if anybody wants anything about Muscle Beach. But like I said, the bodybuilding is like I maxed it out. That's why I kind of like ventured into the fighting, where I'm like, you know what, it's very nice if you look good, but you got to be able to also do something with how you look, and that's impressive, when
so
you look.
You went to the maximum of physical endurance in bodybuilding, became the top at it, went, this isn't tough enough, I'm now going to go get punched.
Right.
I don't know if you're badass or nuts.
Right.
It's a line. Like,
you gotta be a little bit of both.
I just feel like every man every man thinks they can fight, right? Every man's like, I can fight, right? But it's like if you have to fight, it's a different story, It's like you're sitting on the sideline, you're watching some shit, you're like, yeah, I know I can fight. But actually stepping in there and fighting takes a different man, So for me, it just naturally, because I'm an extreme guy, So I feel like that's just what the next level was, because I look like I can like literally rip people apart, and so I got to be able to do that too, not just look that way.
Reasonable assertion of your physicality.
Right, exactly, but be able to do that too. Like kind of like it's also like like a myth, like Hercules. Like Hercules is not just swole; he's literally wrestling down a lion, he's slaying the Hydra. He's fighting, He's like literally conquering and fighting. So he's super swole, but he also does like the hero stuff,
And that'd be something. Do you have a fight nickname already?
Zeus.
Okay, so it relates that already.
Yana, we have to put him in the. We have a TV show we're doing for BBC. We got to throw him in. I'm just saying. He acts. He's tall. I'm just saying. I have a TV show we're doing for BBC. We got to.
Okay.
So we have about 2 minutes left of the show. Please tell Steel Bears fan group, because they're all into MMA. So take them all. He's got a couple mil. Nick them. Tell them where to find you.
So you can find me on Instagram as Ike Catcher at Ike Catcher. Also, if you're in Venice Beach, you come to Muscle Beach on the weekend. Usually I'm out there, come say hi, come by, come get a lift in, and come get some advice. I'm nice to everybody. And like I said, give me a follow on YouTube, Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. And whoever you are watching, we're just here to lead by example. You got to fight your own fights. You got to live your own life. And you got to develop your own greatness,
And
I feel like that's very.
if you guys want, I know, I love that. If you guys want, I know you got Bear's fan base here. I'll drag Bear out there, and these guys can do some sparring. I'll even bring in Jeremy in London, and you can kill them both. I'll just bring a couple influencers.
Oh, how unfortunate for me.
That'll be good. It'll be fun. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Okay.
You as well, sir.
Guys, he is going to be on the September 14th fight. We are also going to be featuring him in the new reality show we have coming up on MMA Fighters. Mm-hmm. So the three that we will be focused on actually from the social media world are going to be Ike, Bear, and
Christopher, right?
Yeah, except I called him Jeremy 2 minutes ago. It's
Christopher London.
I know. I called him Jeremy London, which is an actor. Well, then it's your fault. Then you lose the fight. So these are the three guys, and the rest of it that we're going to be focused on some of the guys from the US Olympic team. So do me a favor, make sure you are following
Ike Catcher.
Make sure you are following. Catcher. Make sure you are following.
What, myself?
Yes.
At Bear Fiorda.
And
Christopher London.
There you go.
All right, perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us. We like to mess around a lot, but I really enjoyed talking with you. You are incredibly charming, and I think you're going to be a star just across the board. It's very easy to see.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Okay, bye-bye.
Guys, thank you for joining us on Behind the Scenes. Next week, you'll get me with a bunch of needles in my face, and then after that, we'll have on Christopher London, which I'm looking forward to. And then we can talk about him punching Bear in the face. I'm Summer Helene. This is my co-host who waited until, I'd like to point out, he waited until I got off to eat the chips. Yeah, and then you felt small, didn't you?
I did.
You wasn't.
We'll see you next week.
Good night.
This has been Behind the Scenes with Summer Helene and Bear Fiorda. Only on Talk 4 Media.